Live from the virtual circuit de Spa Francorchamps. Welcome everybody to the grand finale of the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors Series presented by 42 Stitches. That's right, it is round 12 of 12. And what better place to finish off this magnificent series than Spa Francorchamps. It's an absolutely historic circuit. Everybody knows Spa Francorchamps in the motorsport world. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how things will end, as we've still got a championship to decide in the Spec 1 standings. My name's Dane Bed. Alongside me today is Jim Hodgson with Marco Barbanera on the cameras and production. And Jim, we've seen a fantastic racing throughout the entirety of this season so far. Last week, of course, your first broadcast on the series back at Alton Park, and we saw some really good racing there. What are you expecting here at Spa?
Well, just looking at the times go by, I'm thrilled. The short answer to your question is I'm thrilled. It's exactly as you say. I love this track. Everybody does. As soon as we start the broadcast, we're all chatting about how much we love Spa just before we went on mic here, as we see the Volcano team doing everything they can to better their times. I think it's going to be a great race. Spa can be a little bit tricky with picking up the penalties in certain spots, as you well know. Yeah, I think we're going to see an amazing race. It will be a little bit weird, won't it? Just because we won't have that many laps. We won't have as many laps as you would think because they're 3 minutes long, whereas, Alton Park is quite a different story. But great racing on an iconic track. Plenty of places to really put on the anchors, as you see here, a car that is Duran navigating the bus stop chicane right there before they start finish straight. So yeah, what more can I say then? It's going to be amazing. And I love it.
Absolutely, it will be brilliant. And I believe that we've got, let me double check that, the classic pits we do. So turn 1, not going to be La Source. Turn 1, they're coming across the line. They're going to cross the line to finish their lap and start their next lap as the checkered flag has just come out. But let's have a look at the championship standings before we take a look at the grid thing, because we could still have around 3 minutes left until we can see the rest of the grid. Anyway, let's have a look at Spec 1 then. Rafael Berbagal, 729 points. He's up at the top there. 31 points behind is Gorka Iterette. Then it's Rodrigo Duran and Austin Winner. Now, all four of those drivers, the top four, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they can still win the championship as it stands now. But for Daniel Sadro, he can't. He is currently in 5th with a 135-point gap to the leaders. Then we've got Ian Haycox, Florent Arabian, David Bohm, Jeff Fritcher, and Yancy Lin in the top 10 of Spec 1 standings before today's event. And then let's have a look at Spec 2 standings. And we have got a champion already crowned. Antonio Race, he has got an unsurmountable lead. He cannot be caught by Bob Kern, who is 126 points behind. Antonio Race really dominating in the middle of this season. He's dropped back slightly over the last couple of rounds, but he really did dominate throughout the middle of the season, and you can tell with that massive gap. Then we've got Kenneth Bately, Mario Howski, Simon Mayer, Yuri Cox, Maxime de Thomason, Jeff Jacobson, Paul Jackson, and Ian Gibson, rounding out the top 10 in Spec 2. Spec 1 and 2 decided by iRating. Spec 1 is for drivers above 3,000 iRating. Spec 2 is for drivers below 3,000 iRating, and you can tell who is in Spec 1 and who is in Spec 2 on the cars and on the timing tower as well. Drivers above 200 with their car number, they are in Spec 2. So qualifying is about to finish. You can see the drivers, they're about to be crossing the line. This is going to confuse me as it did a few weeks ago when I did Apex Racing League Porsche Cup. The classic bits always confuses me because I'm used to seeing the drivers head through towards the source out of the bus stop. That's the final corner for me, but La Source is the final corner here today, as we've got some drivers just finishing up their laps. I would expect us to finish up very, very shortly, as a really long lap here in these cards. It's a very long circuit, and it's around about 2 minutes 50 seconds we're seeing a lot of so far on the grid. And yeah, this is going to be like you said, a fairly long lap for these guys, but That means that we get to see a lot of time spent on these straights. I think it's going to be a bit of a draft fest for much of this race.
Well, certainly, you know, I mean, you'll definitely want to set your car up as best you can. You know, you'll have that in mind as you come down from the source to Eau Rouge and you go through that dip. You've really got to set your car up, as you well know. And we're going to see this as we ride along here with a driver who is not highlighted on the timing tower. I think that's Bob Kern. But you'll see that he's got to start thinking about setting his car up now to go through Eau Rouge. As he does, he puts those left wheels right there on the curbs, touches the right as he heads up through Radion to set himself up for the Camel Straight. So if he's not in, and of course now he stopped the car entirely. Thanks for that, Kern. Yeah, if you're not set up for a good tow when you get to Radion there, to get a good tow from the Camel Straight all the way down to Le Camp, boy, are you going to lose a lot of time.
Absolutely, and the checkered flag has well and truly fallen. It fell around about 4 minutes ago. Just before we get the grid, it's time to thank the sponsor of this series, 42 Stitches. For full service custom apparel decoration, check out 42 Stitches. They specialize in embroidery and heat transfer and can take your idea from sketch to finished product. Everything from shirts to hats to masks and gaiters. Check them out at 42stitches.com and shoot them an email at info@42stitches.com to get your project started. 42 Stitches has you covered, and they've got the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warrior Series covered as well. So many thanks to them. Right, in the background we can see the drivers getting ready on the grid. Let's have a look at that grid. Rodrigo Duran on pole position, championship leader Rafael Barbagal alongside. Then Gorka Itoret, David Gaspers, David Bohm, Maurizio Naselli. Then we've got Yerny Zoritz, Bobby West, Austin Winner, and Miro Hrabsky in 10th. Larry McLeod and Antonio Race rounding out the top 12. Then Mitch Weatherly, Ian Haycox, Alan Schneider, Tim Van Dorneman. Then we've got Dominique Barreau, Brian Short, Ken Bately, Mick Carr, Jeff Fritcher, Bob Kern, Stephen Elson, and Enrique. Then we've got Simon Mayer, Nico Shook. Then Jim McGill, Paul Jackson, Paolo Brem, and Jeff Jacobson rounding out the top 30. Massive grid here today as always. Then we've got Adam Bradshaw, Giulio Focolin. Then Focolin, as I'm being told by our producer, Johan Batenga, then Richard Franco, Bretton Nordstrom, Ian Gibson. Then final page we've got Eustace Simpkins, Gary Warbolt, then David Swig, Andrew Cox, Tom Gradwell, Arthur Grant, Yuri Cox, Philippe Chauvin, Samuel Dick, Flavio Andalo, and Mark Gihan, rounding out the 47 car grid that we've got here today. And we're going to have a rolling start as always. And the drivers are lining up just before Blanchimont, I believe. So they've got not too long before we get going. The lights are on top of the screen, which means the pace car is about to get underway. And we are going to be going green very, very shortly. Once again, it seems to be a Volcano 1, 2, and 3. And that seems to be a common theme this season, Jim. We've seen that quite a lot.
Well, they've certainly put on a little bit of a driving clinic. But you know, the great thing about a field this big on a track this big is there will be action all over the place. Of course, we'll be keeping our eyes at the front of the field just because of the overall winner is always exciting. But yeah, there's going to be lots to look at. I'm jealous right now, Dane, to be honest with you. I would love to be in this race. But of course I don't have the talent.
Well, we've got a massive group of drivers heading out through the bus stop. We should be going green here, but we're not. We're waiting until La Source. This is going to be the final corner. It's not the first corner, as everyone, including myself, is used to. Around the final corner, La Source, they go. Duran holding up the field. The pace car will pull off to the left-hand side of our screen, the right-hand side of the circuit. And we go green for the final time this season. Down towards Eau Rouge and Radion they go. And it's been a dreadful start for Berbigal. He's dropping down the order, 2 wide for 3rd and 4th. Now 2 wide for 4th and 5th. Berbigal still dropping back, but now the drafting will start as we head onto the Camel Straight for the first time.
Yes, indeed. I love this long shot. You can see the cars for, it feels like an hour. You can see them from coming down the Camel Straight all the way to this big braking zone, which they're entering just now to make this right hand at Le Col. I'm honestly so glad there hasn't been a massive pile up yet. Cars all being pretty clean out there on track, which I very much appreciate. We want to see them finish thanks to a nice, long, exciting race as we head down the hill to Brussels. A couple of lead changes back there for the Volcano team, but yes, indeed, Berbigal. Oh no, we've got a driver off here. But not a great start for Berbigal. I'm sure he'll be looking to do his best to gain some of those places back.
Absolutely, Berbigal all the way down in 7th at the moment. Really poor start for him. We're not used to seeing that. He's normally much better at the starts, and Gorka Iterret taking advantage. He is up into 1st. I'll be trying to bring live standing updates when possible. I'm just busy setting up my calculator to try and help that cause, but it looks like Gaspers has just got past Iterret, and he moves up into the lead then in the 17 car. And for the first time this race, a Volcano car is not in the lead, but there are 2 right behind of Iterret and Duran. For Iterret especially, he's going to be liking what he's seeing with Berbigal down in 7th, because those 2 at the top and in 2nd in that Spec 1 championship at the moment. Now let's see Iterret. He's going for the lead of the race. He's going to go down the inside as they head in towards Blanchimont.
Wow, Gaspers really seemed to lose some top-end speed there to the Volcano team. I mean, this is a spec series, so you're exactly right. As they headed into Blanchimont, it just seemed the Volcano cars just seem to have a little bit more top-end. Now, granted, they do seem to be working together a little bit nose to tail as we come into the big braking zone here for the bus stop chicane and onto what is normally, for me, as you said, the start-finish straight. But there's a little cheeky Naselli back there having a little look and moves himself into 3rd. Now, we'll see how that shakes out once they go around Les Ours to finish up the lap. Volcano not having a great race so far. I mean, this is only the first lap, but a little bit surprising to see.
Yeah, well, Gorka's got back up into the lead, but now the drafting will begin once again. Berbigal still down in 7th. He wasn't able to make up any moves at the end of lap number 1, but we start lap number 2 then. That took an age, 3 minutes was the first of the laps. We're going to see that decrease by around about 5 to 10 seconds throughout the race, but now the drafting has begun. Iterret hard to the inside there, and he says, David Gaspers, you're going around my outside if you want that move. Naselli's gone with him, and Iterret's found himself down in 3rd. Who's going to be the latest of the breakers? Naselli's already got ahead. Winner's trying to go around the outside as they head into Le Comp for the 2nd time. Winner's still alongside. Gorka just about manages to hold on to that one, and now Duran down the inside of Winner. Winner dropped back into 5th. Gaspers, Naselli, Iterret, Duran, Winner, and then Bohm. Berbigal trying to go down the inside of Bohm. Looks like he'll have that move done by the exit. Looks like it. Yes, he has. Now they head into No Name Corner and down towards Pouon. For the 2nd time, he moves himself up into 6th.
Wow, Gaspers got a big push from Naselli down the sort of the latter part of the Camel Straight there coming into Le Comp. I assume that's just Naselli saying to himself, we got to do something to try to get away from these Volcano guys. And maybe if I give Gaspers a push, I can kind of hitch my wagon. We can hitch our wagons together and get away here a little bit. Did I just see German flags for both of them? Yes. On the rear of their cars, Gaspers and Naselli. So maybe there's a little bit of, German solidarity there.
Well, Miro Haske, he is in the 205 car that is well into the Spec 2 range. And he is currently your Spec 2 leader, as you can see. Gaspers getting overtaken by Naselli. So Gaspers not his strong point heading up the hill there. Could it be Oh, hello. Let's see. This is actually some real overspeed he just found himself having in towards the braking zone for the bus stop. What's happened further back? Oh, they're going too wide, 2 rows back. Winners just got past Duran, and Bohm's just got past Berbergal. So the Volcano car's dropping back. It seems as though, although Berbergal's just got back past Bohm, it's all side by side in towards the source. And they're going to be starting lap 3. Bohm sends one down the inside into the source. Has he got that move done on Berbergal? Berbergal has some damage to the rear of his car. They're still side by side though, but Bohm has the draft from Duran in front. But I would expect Berbergal to get back in the draft of Bohm and then be able to retake the position by the time that they head in towards the com. And that's what Gaspers has just done to Naselli. He held back at the bus stop because he knew he was going to be able to make that move back on the Kemmel straight. Gorka Tourette, he's taking the lead.
Wow, what a race we're having here at the front. It is all happening between these cars, and it just seems like I think that was a little tap there. I believe that was just a tiny tap between Gaspers and Naselli there, perhaps. Did we lose a car there in Lake Hall? No, everybody looks okay. We lost one, says Marco.
Looks like Winner got a slowdown potentially. He's dropping all the way back, and he has promoted Berbergal up into 6th as Gorka lost out in the front there. What happened to Mr. Winner? Let's have a look in his 33 machine. Around the outside. Oh, he just sends one in very, very deep. Just about holds onto it.
Yeah, just ran out of track there a little bit, as many have done at the end of the Kemmel Straight. So we're on board now with Naselli, and let's see if he's able to gap Gaspers here. This is sort of the spot where Gaspers has gotten past the last 2 laps. He's been overtaken here through this sort of last couple of turns of Blanchemont till we get to the bus stop. But no, it appears Gaspers is the man with the run now. Let's see. Maybe he's figured out, and by getting past the last 2 laps, that he really needs to get on the gas through this area of the track. Well, he's taking over the lead anyway. That's certainly positive.
Yep, that is very positive for him. Riding on board with Tourette then. He's hanging back. You can hear he's lifted off. He's been lifted very early there. He didn't want to make a move because he knows that the second you make a move into the bus stop, you get taken out in the Kemmel Straight. You get the draft train from behind, and there is really no defense. So yeah, he's made a smart move there. The front 3 cars have a little bit of a gap to the to Bohm in 4th. So we look a little bit further back down the field. Battles all throughout the field here. This is David Swig that we're looking at in the 510. Oh, look at this, Berbergal and Duran. Oh, I thought Duran was going to try and go down the inside of Eau Rouge there. He didn't quite. But riding on board with Berbergal, that is his teammate Duran. And right there you can see the power of the draft. Are they going to be bump drafting, or is he going to pull out to try and make a move? I think he's bump drafting here.
Yeah, it would seem like it. Bohm there would love to be able to close that gap, I'm sure. And the Volcano cars may be able to pull him on through if Bohm plays his cards correctly. Now he splits those 2 drivers, Berbergal and Duran. But yeah, I'm sure they'd love to make that lead pack of 3 drivers into a lead pack of, more like 6, 7, 8. Great to see everybody this close together. Even though we're only on lap 4, spot is so long that lap 4 is 8 or 9 laps of some other tracks, especially the smaller British circuits. But yeah, a lot of great racing here. I knew it would be good.
Yeah, we always have good racing. Let's have a look. I'm just looking at the championship standings. If Gorka can win the race, then what he needs is for Berbergal to finish no higher than 7th position. So he's going to have to rely on Berbagar dropping back just a bit. Berbagar just needs to finish in the top 7, or in the top 6, sorry, to win the championship. That's what he needs to do. As Duran, oh, he's just run a little bit wide there, and there goes winner.
Is Gorka in the race today? I'm not seeing him.
There he is in 3rd. Gorka Tourette in,
I see.
in
First name,
3rd
sorry.
right there.
Sorry about that, Dave.
In the number 41 with the pink on his
Right,
wheels. And he's got his championship rival right on his back now.
I've just never met the man. I'm not on a first name basis with him.
As Marco Barbanera in the production booth telling us that there's 2 Gorkas. One of them is missing today. And yes, I'm pretty sure he's right on that. But a Gorka Tourette fighting for the championship. Let's have a look far down the field. In 33rd, this is Brett Nordstrom looking to make a move on. Is that Samuel Dick just ahead of him? Oh, what's happened in the background? There is a car off at the bus stop on the inside wall at Swig. What has happened to him?
Oh dear.
Into the bus stop down the inside, or not really down the inside. The 225 is going to send it around the outside. No. Let's see. Is it all on his own? Yes, it is. And he's just got all up on that inside curb.
A little too much of the sausage curb, didn't he?
Yeah, and it just flung him around, unfortunately for him.
Well, you did a great job of predicting the future in terms of lap times, didn't you? I mean, we were at sort of a 2:55, and now we're down to more like a 2:50 range. So you were right that they came right down 5 seconds. It's as if you've done this before, Dane.
Yeah, the drivers like to get those lap times down. And yeah, they're doing a great job out there, keeping it nice and clean for the most part, which we love to see. Nassetti's gapped Gaspers a little bit. 3/10 is the gap now. I say he's gapped him. The gap physically is about 2 car lengths, but the gap in terms of time is 3/10, which I'm used to commentating on GT cars, which 3/10 gap is quite considerably larger than that.
Yeah, you know, that's what I love about these Spec Racer Fords is how, you know, it's a purpose-built car, but they're not quite so much with the top end. I mean, I happen to know that a not very talented driver can pull a 256 at Spa in a Hyundai i30N. So, you know, to see these purpose-built race cars lapping in the sort of the 250s as well gives you an idea of how not GTE they are, but so much fun. And I love that, you know, center driving position and great car. Love these things. That sausage curb is just murder there in the bus stop, isn't it?
Absolutely. It likes to take the rear wheels, the rear left wheels on the inside, and just throws them up into the air, and the rest of the car with it. As Gaspers around the final corner, he will lead them on to lap 6, and we're already just under 15 minutes through the race. And should probably point out that we do have pit stops to be made, and as I say that, wow, lots of drivers heading into the pit lane. Well, that was great timing, I think, and yeah, lots of drivers heading into the pit lane. We've got Zoritz, Race, Elson, Short, McGill, Kern, many drivers further back down the field making an early pit stop. This is the first opportunity they've had, really, to make that pit stop. And the pit window is between 12 minutes and 28 minutes, we expect. And that's why everyone's diving down into the pits. That's all the drivers taking their pit stop as early as possible.
If I may, I'd like to extend a heartfelt shout out to Weatherly here. We're seeing him. This is the second car in this position. He's just behind McLeod in the number 4 car with the Georgia Tech livery. A rambling wreck of Georgia Tech. I'm from Atlanta myself. Weatherly, carry on, son.
Well, he's doing a very, very good job indeed. Up in 9th at the moment is the driver of the number 4 car. And he is right on the back of Larry McLeod, one of our fellow commentators here at Apex Racing TV. He's joined on as one of our commentators, and he's doing very well as well in 8th in the 133 machine. But he has got Weatherly right behind as this group of 4 drivers, McLeod, Weatherly, Kraski and West, make their way through the middle sector. Probably my favourite sector on the circuit, really.
Is it?
Really, really nice and flowing, yeah.
Oh, man, I'm all about what is normally the start-finish straight. I just love stomping on the brakes for a source because that you almost can't cut it too tight. And we've seen it a couple of times because there's a great camera right there at La Source. How big, we just saw this when Winner went through a second ago. Yeah, I think that was Bohm behind, but it's so much more time to go around the long way at La Source. If we see, I'm sure we'll see another pair of cars try to go sort of too wide through La Source, but the outside car loses so much time, and yet people try it anyway.
Well, you have to try it, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, if the lead car were to sort of lose itself, then you would have an easy sort of over-under, but yeah. Oh, maybe we'll have a too wide here through La Source. Look at that camera work on Marco's part. The man is a beast. See, look at this. See, the 21 car was alongside that 20 car, and that's just geometry for you.
Well, he's got a good run. Having said that, as someone's just headed into the pit lane, that looks like Carr. Rasky and Carr heading into the pit lane. But look at the battle for the lead. Webergar still in 4th. Gorka just behind Gaspers and Naselli. Naselli taking the lead of the race as they head into Lecombe, but nothing separating those two as they came past the camera there. Absolutely nothing.
Now, yeah, I don't know these guys, of course, Naselli and Gaspers, but I wonder if they've had a chat to each other and said, listen, we know we're going to face strong competition from these Volcano guys who are going to be working together, and this is a track where you can really pick up some time by going nose to tail, or maybe it's just a sort of a circumstance that's brought them together. But yeah, there's nothing in it between those two cars. As you see there on the timing tower, Gaspers I just saw his time to Naselli go down to 0. So he was inside Naselli's car.
Yeah, these drivers up at the top really, really close together. Then, the second pack of cars just behind them as well. These 3, there's Bohm, Winner and Duran. They're not doing too badly either. They are currently 5th, 6th and 7th. And then we've got to go about 4 seconds back to reach McLeod, Weatherly, West. As those 3 drivers, as Rasky from that pack has already left. But yeah, up towards Blanchemont they go. Is Winner going to try and make a move on Bohm?
He is closing. Boy, this is a scary part on the track right here. You can very easily go wide, and it will be a terrible end to your day if you do lose the car here, because you're at the very top of what the car can do. But he appears to have managed to make it stick as we head into the bus stop with Winner in the lead of this little pack here. Winner, Bone, and we're on board with Durant. Just quickly switch to Schneider here. The number 21 machine. Let's see if he can make it happen on the number 20 car of Van Dormelen. He has a look. Van Dormelen appeared to be just defending a little bit. interesting to me to see, it's so much a different racing experience as we see 3 cars come into the pit here. That's McLeod, Weatherly, and West, all diving into the pits together. Those were positions 8, 9, and 10, have all just jumped in there together.
And it looks like this is Paolo Brem is going to make his way into the pit as well. Really, really tight entry there. Someone's knocked the yellow cone on the inside. On the right-hand side there, you can see that's a very, very tight gap to try and get through. The cone getting knocked over as every person enters the pit lane. Very, very tight pit entry here. Very, very narrow. And yeah, difficult to get the car, not get the car stopped, just get the car slow enough that you can actually make it through that gap. You can see, we can now see how many stops each driver has made. No one inside the top 19 has stopped. It is McLeod who is the driver in front of that pack of drivers who have made their stop. He's down in 20th. So let's see what the gap is. Around about 45 seconds to the leaders. The gap was about 8 seconds, so I would say that a pit stop is around about 36, 37 seconds.
Dane, I'm just noticing that even though we had a lot to say about Burbagal's, start, and he probably wasn't too happy with his start. He fell quite a bit down the timing tower, but he appears to have come good. He's caught this group of 4 here, and I would say that the lead is a possibility for him. The win of the race. He's riding in P4 as he is. I'm sure he's pleased too.
I mean, he's doing all he has to. He just has to finish in the top 6, and he is well within that at the moment. And you can hear he's lifting off. He's probably saving enough fuel at the moment, sitting behind these drivers, that he could put less fuel in at the pit stop and maybe even jump them all, as we saw. I think it was Austin Winner do last week. Unfortunately, it didn't work out quite for Winner last time out. Unfortunate incident on the last lap. Very exciting race at the end there. If any of the viewers haven't watched that race from last week, I strongly recommend going to do so. You can find that on our YouTube channel, Apex Racing TV. But yeah, we've got a race on our hands. Around about 6 minutes after the pit window, that's 2 passes of the pit lane, maybe 3 if the drivers are lucky, and doesn't look like anyone in that pack has taken to the pit lane.
Wow, Winner, Bohm, and Duran all do their personal bests at a 250. Running on board here with Schneider is Van Dormelen's car, a little bit of a taparoo in the old gearbox there. We're getting a good look at that gearbox, aren't we?
Seeing all the interior workings of that Spec Racer Ford car. And he drops back, just pushing to try and get that extra speed between the two of them, trying to catch up to the group of cars ahead of them.
Okay, we've got a replay here. It says that we're riding alongside with Antonio Reyes. What has happened to him? He spun at La Source, says Marco. Thank you, Marco. Well, here we are with the leaders once more. That's Naselli from Gaspers, from Iterate, from Burbagal. And it seems that Iterate and Burbagal are kind of maybe minding their time a little bit and letting the race come to them. I mean, they've gotten a lot of... Oh, no. We got a big spin here from the number 149 machine. That's Garnez.
Oh, and that is like another driver as well. It's Barreau. Dominique Barreau as well involved in that one. Oh, they're coming through Pouon. Now what happens here? Is there a little bit of contact involved? Oh dear. Bang. That is very, very hard impact for the The 149 there, taking the toe back to the pit lane. Dominic Barreau has not. As the driver's, yeah, he's made his way back round. You can see the steering damage on that. He has got a good 30-degree angle to the right on his steering wheel, and he's going in a straight line.
Yeah. Well, he's lucky not to have any worse damage than that. Obviously, he made the choice to try to drive it back to the pits. We see our leaders here. We're let's see how we handle La Source here. The final turn on the track would normally be turn 1, as we've said. And there we go. Gaspers is going to pit. So Gasper's the first of those sort of lead cars to decide to take advantage of the pit. There he is, the number 17 machine, as we see the rest of the leaders carrying on. Nobody dove in behind Gaspers, did they? That's pretty interesting. But Naselli now, all alone, under the onslaught of the Volcano team, who knows to tail it down the Kemmel Straight toward Le Camp, and they both take places from Naselli. So without Gaspers, Naselli was a sitting duck. And Interate in his number 41 machine, followed by Berbagal in number 23, just said, right, I'm going to have all of that. Thank you very much. As we see the number 35 of Haycox taking a little look at the inside of Le Camp. I hope they manage to keep this clean. Oh, they do so far. Very tricky part of the track for sure, as I'm sure we can all agree as we go through that little complex there now down to Brussels. What a race we have going on here today. I'm positively thrilled.
Yeah, we always get good races. I'm expecting everyone else that hasn't already pitted to make their pit stop on the next time by, because we are very, very fast, very, very quickly approaching that 28-minute mark. As Zoretz has got some company. That's Bobby West. And the UK and Ireland driver, he's going to just sit back for the time being. Seems to be a common theme with the race. If you can sit back behind the other driver, use their draft, save fuel, you can overtake them in the pits. Now this is interesting. Iterette and Berbagal got past Naselli, of course. They're now battling each other for the lead of this race. Remember, we still do have, of course, pit stops that have to play into things. But this could be interesting. Is Berbagal going to try and make a move? I doubt it. Oh, there goes Naselli. That's a big move. He had a huge amount of overspeed into the bus stop chicane, and he sends one right down the inside of both of them. He's up into the lead.
Wow, what a move. That was, yeah, I'm going to take my hat off to Naselli on that one. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to keep it as we look at them. The Volcano team members giving each other a little bit of a bump there, heading down into La Source, but that was very well done on Naselli's part. I would not have attempted that, certainly not to pass two different cars. And here we go into the pits. So all the lead drivers are now heading into the pits. Naselli, Iterate, and Berbagal. So it'll be interesting to see, Dane, won't it, if anybody takes a little bit less fuel now that we're at the 28-minute mark in a 40-minute race. What are your thoughts? Wow, everybody pitting.
Now, the pit lane here is pretty heavily downhill, of course, so we've seen some drivers going pretty quickly through there. These cars don't have a pit limiter, so we could see some potentially interesting penalties potentially, but look at that. Iterette just ahead of Berbagal. Where's Gaspers? There is Gaspers. Gaspers is going to have loads of speed. Up through Erosion Rayon he goes. Now he's going to pull to the left-hand side. He'll take them both. How much of a gap is he going to be able to pull? That's the big question. He's easily into the lead.
If he can catch up to the number 215 there, I don't think he's going to be able to do it quite before they get to the call here, but hard to tell with that particular shot. But yeah, he has a little bit of a gap, doesn't he? Just over half a second. I'm sure that Iterate and Berbagal will be able to close that out, won't they? Just by working together.
Yeah, they'll be able to make all of that time up. You can see the gap is already around about 0.3 of a second, 0.4 of a second, 0.5 of a second. That gap is steadily increasing. Now, what has happened to the Volcano Cars? It's a Rets just ahead of Burbergal. They've dropped back a lot whilst we were cut away. Interesting. It seems as though might have a bit of an issue with the timing tower at the moment, but I think the 1 second gap is the correct one. So I was not seeing things. It was yeah, the gap was around about 1.5 seconds. That's not drafting range, I don't think, in these cars. We'll have to wait and see, of course. We'll see pretty much right about now. But remember, Burbergal is going to be bump drafting Gorka. And there you can see in the background, they can have quite a lot of speed. You can see they've already gained quite a lot of time now, heading up through there. Despite not having the draft of Gaspers, they've got the draft, well, Burbergal's got the draft of Ritteret, and he's just using it to push him along.
Yeah, you know, that is pretty far back to be in the biggest possible draft, but it's not an on-off, you know, not a binary thing. So they're, you know, more of a bell curve. So they'll still benefit a little bit, even at that distance. But yeah, we'll see if they're able to bring it down. I think on the Camel Straight, they'll be able to certainly make up some time and possibly headed down from La Source to Eau Rouge as well, since there's a big downhill. The cars will be going, you know, pretty fast down toward Eau Rouge.
Yeah, they are going fairly quickly down towards Eau Rouge at the moment. The gap was 1 second between Gorka and David Gaspers as they entered the sequence. Now, interestingly, Winner and Duran, they are fighting at the moment for 3rd and 4th in the championship. Before the pit stops, Winner was going to take 3rd by 1 point. Now, Duran will take the champion, or will take 3rd position by 1 point as they move up more positions now. That car gets out of the way. Winner is around. Is he going to keep out of the wall? Just about. That is disastrous for Austin Winner. What has happened here? Did he just outbrake himself, or was there help? That car getting out of the way. Oh, there's a bit of tap. There's a bit of a tap. Yep. And it's enough to send him around. Unfortunately for him, he's dropped all the way down to 8th. And yeah, we've just been told by our producer, you can see on the timing tower now, that middle number between the driver's name and the gap, that's their pit lane time. And you can see for Naselli, it was 40.1 seconds. That's about 5 seconds longer than anyone else in that top leading group. So that explains why he dropped back as he did, and he is now trying to defend from Duran and Bohm. Duran pretty much guaranteed 3rd position in the championship after that.
You know, Dane, I'm noticing at the top of the tower here, if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, you'll see Gaspers about half a second from Burbergal, who is another almost half a second back. So they're not, Burbergal and Niederati not quite running as close together as you would expect. As we see Burbergal now more or less nose to tail with Gaspers, who has been passed in this spot on the track before by this very car, I believe.
We've just seen Burbergal get ahead of his teammate, of course, and that would definitely seal the deal. Oh, what? That was an interesting line from from Gaspers there. He did a yeah, that's a very interesting line. All up over the curves there. Somehow managed to keep it going in a straight line. We saw earlier on that's not the easiest thing to do. So we've got this race has gone very, very quickly. We've got 5 minutes to go. What has happened in the stop? That is a huge cluster of cars. Winner has dropped down to 9th. What has happened there? Cars with all sorts of damage. That's a huge cluster of cars. Now you can see on the timing tower, got Weatherly all the way back to Bately. That's 11 cars separated by 10 seconds. And the battle for the lead is as intense as ever. We've got Gaspers leading Burbergal and Iterret. He wants to get ahead. He's ahead of his teammate. He's not ahead of Gaspers, who makes a sharp move to the left. His left, our right. And that was some heavy defensive driving from Gaspers there. Iterret up ahead of Burbergal at this point for pride. Because Burbergal in third, that would secure the championship for him.
I think we must be headed down into the bus stop here. That is Weatherly in the lead of this little pack. And the 89 car shot up the inside and collected the number 82 machine. So that was West on... Looking for the 82 car.
Zoritz. It was Yoni Zoritz in the 82.
You should know him by his lightning livery.
Yeah, he's got a fantastic livery on that car, and lots of great liveries out there actually. We've seen many different liveries. We've seen many different drivers. Loads of drivers in this series. Many of them don't even make it to the broadcasted race. They have a pre-qualifying session with many more drivers than we see here out on track, and the top X amount of drivers make it through to the main race each week. Burbergal dropping back slightly, around about a second between himself and his teammate, who is right on the back of Gaspers now. Is Iterret going to try and bump draft Gaspers so that he will extend the gap to his teammate? As Naselli gets past Bohm, that is going to be just in the background, about 4 seconds back from these guys.
Yeah, I think we're going to get the white flag here. Dane, if I'm not mistaken, we're just hearing from Marco that that is the case. Just ticking down to under 3 seconds and lapping at 2:51. So if there's any time to make a move, well, everything we're going to see between Gaspers and Iterret is going to happen on this lap.
If I'm Iterret at the moment, I'm staying back. I'm not making a move into Le Combe, because I know that Gaspers has made a move pretty much every single lap for the first 5, 6, 7 laps of this race. When he was fighting with Naselli, he made that move through Blanchimont into the bus stop chicane every single time. I'm waiting. Let's see what Iterret does then. What is Gorka going to do? Is he going to hold back, or is he going to make the move and get ahead? He moves to the outside, weaving a little bit. What is he doing? I've never ever seen that before. Never. That is
Nor have I.
really odd to look at for Iterret, but he has held back. He did what I thought he would do. What? Oh, Burbergal. What has happened to Burbergal? He's in 6th. What has happened to Burbergal? He's in 6th. Luckily for him, there's a 13-second gap to the driver behind. If he's run out of fuel, that could be huge for the championship. Burbergal right now will take the championship by a point if he stays where he is in 6th and Iterret wins. Iterret still has a little bit of work to do though. 3/10 is the gap between himself and Gaspers. Just a few corners left of the race. 1 minute left of the race. We're going to finish the race this lap, we believe. Now let's see. Through the middle sector they go then. Iterret just biding his time. He's just waiting until he can get into that long back straight section before Blanchimont. Now he's going to floor it, get into the draft of the number 17 car, and let's see, can he get past? And crucially, can Gaspers try and defend this? He moves to the outside, the right-hand side, the outside of the circuit, and then he cuts back to the inside. Bit of a block there. Gorka, once again, doing that weird weavy thing down the straight. He is to the outside. Now they're going to go through Blanchimont. Gorka doesn't have as much of a run as I thought he would. Gaspers really doing well here. Gorka, he's going to have to send one down the inside, surely. No, he's not. He's not close enough. Gaspers through the final few corners he goes. Through the bus stop chicane. Now he's got to go down towards Berbagal. Down into 9th. He must have run out of fuel. He's dropping back. He's run out of fuel. Berbagal's dropping right back through the order. Iterette might have... He might have the championship in the bag. Will he finish off the season with a win? Drag race to the line. But it's not going to be. It's going to be Gaspers who wins the final round.
Oh.
But Gorka, has he just taken the championship? We have to wait to see where Berbagal finishes. He's still dropping down the order. Look, he's down into 18th or 17th, now into 18th. As race gets past. So unfortunate for him. As he's going to cross the line, pushing Antonio Race, our Spec 2 champion. Antonio Race is going to take the Spec 2 championship. Great season for him. Berbagal finishes in 17th. Now 17th will get him 55 points. And if I put that into my calculator now, oh no. Berbagal has lost the championship by 4 points.
Oh.
Iterette, that man on your screens right now, if my calculations are correct, which I really hope they are, Gorka Iterette is your Spec 1 champion.
What a race.
Does he know it? I've just been told by Marco Barbanera. That is a very good point. There are 3 drop rounds. So my calculations might not be correct.
Do you think, Dan, do you think that that's what the weaving was about? Like maybe he thought, okay, I've got this in the bag?
I'm not sure.
Maybe
because
there,
Berbagal hadn't even been dropping back that much at that point.
there we see a little bit more wiggling around, don't we?
Yeah, he looks pretty happy with himself. We'll have to try and get confirmation from the league organizers, the Spec Racer Forward Weekend Warriors organizers, to see if we can get any confirmation on who has won the championship. It's going to be close, no matter what. That we can be sure of. But David Gaspers, he did an absolute masterclass in defending. There's the there's 2 drivers. The 2 volcano cars having a bit of a moment there. What is that about? They are inside of one another. They're the 23 and the 41. I believe that's, yeah, there's Berbagal and Iterette. They are most likely 1 and 2 in the championship. They've got their teammates joining them now. Gorka's doing the... He's weaving again. I'm really not sure. Gorka is... He's got the... I want to say body language. I'll say it. Yeah, body language. He's got the body language of a champion. He looks very, very pleased with his result. He really does. But another man who can be very pleased with his result is David Gaspers. He's done an absolutely brilliant job today. Absolute masterclass in defensive driving. He takes the win by 0.2 of a second. Almost pushed across the line by Gorka Iterette, who might just be a champion. Maurizio Naselli finished in 3rd. Then it was Rodrigo Duran. Quite massive gaps between these drivers as the field spread out in the final stages of the race. And then we've got David Bohm, Larry McLeod, Austin Winner finishing in 7th, Mitch Weatherly, Alan Schneider. Oh, and look in the background. That is the traditional Spec Racer Ford demo derby. I'm going to have to try and concentrate on the results. Mitch Weatherly, Alan Schneider, Tim Van Dormelen. Then we've got Yanni Zoritz, Bobby West, Ian Haycox, Mick Carr, Stephen Elson, Antonio Race, the Spec 2 champion, Rafael Berbagal. Has he just lost the championship? We'll have to wait and find out. Nero Hraski finishes in 18th. Then we've got Ken Bately, Jim McGill, Brian Short, Bob Kern, Jeff Richard, Simon Mayer, then Dominique Barreau, Flavio Andalo, Samuel Dick, and Adam Bradshaw. the first driver to finish more than a minute down. Then we've got Richard Franco, Yuri Cox. And we've got Mark Geehan, Paul Jackson, Brett Nordstrom, Paolo Brem, Nico Schupp, Johan Batenga, Ian Gibson, Just Simpkins. And then finally, we've got Andrew Cox, David Swig, Tom Gradwell, Arthur Grant, Gary Walbolt, Philippe Chauvin, Enrique Garnez, Jeff Jacobson, and Giulio Forcolin. 14 laps down. Well, what a race we've just witnessed here at Spa-Francorchamps. It's the season finale that we were hoping for. Plenty of action throughout, and Jim, to finish off the season, they could have done a lot worse to give us some good action here on Apex Racing TV.
Absolutely. I mean, we knew it was going to be a great race, iconic track. We said it all at the top of the broadcast because we're just in love with what we're seeing here. But yeah, great race all the way to the end, as we knew it would be. You know, Nate, it almost seemed to me as though Gaspers learned a different little trick on every lap, and then he was able to string it all together for his last lap and hold Iturrate off there just at the end. But gosh, what a race. Loved it. Can't wait to see more.
Absolutely, and we have more Spec Racer Forward action in 1 week's time. Same time next week, we've got the Spec Racer Forward V Runoffs Week 13 special event from Belle Isle. Now trust me when I say you do not want to miss that. That is going to be a sight to behold, with all of these drivers making their way around the tight little street circuit in Detroit. And yeah, that's going to be at the same time next week, starting off at 5 minutes to 8 UK time GMT on Sunday. And that is the Spec Racer Forward V Runoffs Week 13 special event from Belle Isle. So definitely we would like to see you at that event. It's going to be one to remember. And we've got some drivers waiting in the interview waiting area. Jim, why don't you take our race winner then? We've got David Gaspers waiting for an interview.
Happily. Gaspers, Mr. Gaspers, sir, the winner himself. How are you feeling after that performance?
But yeah, it was a bit boring at times, since we were just basically switching back and forth before the pit stop.
Well, I certainly wasn't bored. I nearly bit my fingers off biting my fingernails there. We saw you come through the bus stop one time and take a whole lot of that sausage curd. What was that? I don't think it was on purpose, but maybe you can tell me.
Well, it wasn't on purpose, but the car doesn't really care about it. My problem was with the angle the sun was shining from. I couldn't really see my braking point for the last corner or the bus stop, so I often brake too late or too early there.
I gotcha. Yeah, certainly a difficult part of the track. But yeah, we were watching you guys, swap places back and forth, and just wondering if you and Naselli had any kind of conversation about working together against the Volcano team.
So, he just passed me on the straight before the camel, on the camel straight, and then after I saw that the two cars behind us were just saving fuel and sitting back, I started lift and coasting through the corner rig part as well and just overtook him in the end again to get a faster lap time. So we don't get the second pack too close towards us.
Yeah, I seem to recall him just sort of just pushing you all the way down the Camel Straight down to Le Camp, but he, luckily pulled out in time for you to make Le Camp without any incident.
That lap, yeah, that was close.
Yeah, well, great race out there. Anything else we need to know about the race? How did it develop for you start to finish?
Yeah, I mean, before the pit stop, it was just driving somehow. It doesn't really matter in what position you are. And as I said, after I saw those two behind us save fuel, I was also starting to save fuel. And after the pit stop, I had the two cars behind out of draft, but once they started bump drafting for one lap, they were back in, so no chance really to get them out. And for some reason, Gorka didn't attack me on the last lap, so I just had to drive the chicane normal, last corner normal again, and again, no one attacked me. And so after the start-finish line right in Eau Rouge, I ran out of fuel.
Oh, wow. Yeah, well, you timed it exactly perfectly. But so, tell me what's going on in your mind as you are, you're coming down you're from La Source, you're headed down toward Eau Rouge. You're headed down the track, and you see the other cars coming out of the pits. What are you figuring out? Yes, I'm going to get past them, or no, I'm not. What's happening in your mind?
At that point, I knew I was going to pass them since I know how much time I lose or gain compared to cars coming out of the pits. And from the gap we had, even if I didn't pass the front car of them, I would have been between them or in the draft, so it didn't matter.
Well, fantastic race. Congratulations on your result. Anybody you'd like to send a shout out to?
Yeah, thank you to Steve for organizing the league and you for broadcasting it. I think without the broadcast, we wouldn't have nearly as many drivers.
Well, it's a lot of fun out there. I'm jealous. It looked like you guys had a lot of fun. Thank you so much. Dan, do we have anybody else that you want to...
Well, we've got someone called Rafa, and if I had to take a wild guess, I'm saying that's Rafael Berbagal. But I'm not sure who the champion is. I've asked the league organizers and our correspondents here at Apex Racing TV, and I'm yet to get an answer. So we'll get him in here anyway. Maybe he knows who's won the championship. Let's get him in here for a quick chat. Rafa, is this Rafael Berbagal before I start talking?
It's me, yeah. Hello, guys.
Well, that was a pretty up and down race for you. The start of the race, you had a pretty dreadful start, it must be said, dropping back to, I believe it was 7th. And then you worked your way up throughout the race, had a great pit stop, and found yourself right at the front. And then what happened at the end? Did you run out of fuel?
No, I didn't actually. I know you'll be surprised, but no, I didn't. It has a reason though. How to say this, but I went to Gorka to win the championship, so I had to back quite a few positions back. And the reason we heard of this is because Gorka's wife is really poorly. She's been battling cancer for 3 years, and she's really poorly at the minute. And I think it was a nice gift to Gorka to give it to him, and also because Rodrigo and I we are racing with Gorka because of this, and yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's a bit of a few things going on here, but yeah, we wanted to dedicate this victory to Chris, which is Gorka's wife, and yeah, and that's it, guys.
Well, that's a very kind thing of you to do. We were really confused in the commentary booth. We thought you had run out of fuel, but then I saw you pushing Antonio Race across the line. I thought he can't be out of fuel, surely.
No. I had a few. I had for a lap or so.
So just to confirm, Gorka's champion.
I'm not 100% sure, but if the maths work out, I expect it. Yeah, he should be. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but that's the intention there.
Well, that is a very kind thing for you to do, and I'm sure Gorka will be very appreciative of that. But yeah, you've had a pretty awesome season then. It's been a fairly long one, 12 weeks of course, but why don't you sum up your season in a few sentences?
I think it's been great. I didn't start the season with the goal of winning the championship or anything like that. It was just pure fun and trying to fight for the lead on each race without thinking in the championship at all. That's basically my motto this championship.
Well, it's been an absolutely brilliant championship to watch and to commentate on. I'm sure it's been a fantastic one to drive in as well. Looks like you've had plenty of fun out there throughout the season. As on the broadcast, we're just seeing you narrowly avoiding Austin Winner as he rejoined the circuit.
Yeah, that was tricky.
Yeah, he had a bit of a trip through the gravel there. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you along for the season. It's been great having the Spec Racer Ford Weekend Warriors series with us, and we've got in just a week's time the Week 13 special event, of course, the V Runoffs Spec Racer Ford Week 13 special event from Belle Isle. Are you going to be joining us for that one?
Probably, yeah, probably.
Well, I think that's going to be an awesome event. Belle Isle is one of my favorite circuits, so that should be a great one to watch and for you to participate in as well. Well, Raphael, thank you so much for joining us in the interview room. It's been a pleasure broadcasting for the whole season. It's been awesome to watch you guys racing, and hopefully we'll see you back for next season.
Thank you very much. May I say something in Spanish for a few friends?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Bueno, hola chicos. Esta victoria de este campeonato y esta carrera va dedicado a Chris y a ver si corremos más del equipo juntos. Venga, muchas gracias. That's all, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Rafa, and hopefully we'll see you next season. Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
But it was great to hear from Raphael there, and yeah, really awesome season. I think Jim, you've only seen the final 2 rounds of the season, but I'm sure you're looking forward to the Week 13 special event at Belle Isle as well, and also for the next season as well. It should be a good one. It's been a fantastic first season on Apex Racing TV for the Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, no question. Belle Isle is going to be amazing. I've always liked it because I like seeing, I'm a Mazda fan, and IMSA Racing, they seem to do fairly well there at Belle Isle. But it will be interesting to see how these Spec Racer Fords deal with that limited runoff, shall we say.
Yeah, limited runoff is a bit of an understatement there. There is no runoff for the majority of that circuit. Yeah, it's a great one. It should be absolutely brilliant. So definitely join us for that, the Week 13 special event, the V Runoff Spec Racer Ford Week 13 special event. That is going to be at Belle Isle, same time, 5 minutes to 8 GMT. And that is going to be on Sunday, the 13th of December. So join us then for the Week 13 event. But for now, from myself, Dane Baird, from Jim Hodgson, and from Marco Barbanera, and everyone else here at Apex Racing TV, wish you a good night and happy racing.